Hi, and welcome to another one of my videos on the basics, the fundamentals of playing old-time, old-school electric blues guitar. If you're a beginner and you're just getting into the style, or even if you're experienced and looking for some different chords and ideas, I hope this series will help you here. And this lesson is going to just be about chords. So if you want to play old-school electric blues like you'd hear in the 50s and 60s, what chords do you need? And especially if you're just starting, it's really important to learn chords, because a lot of the solo ideas and rhythm ideas, if you know the chords, it'll be a lot easier for you to understand them and figure them out. I'm going to start out with 7th chords, and the most basic major 7th chords. The basic one is out of your bar shape. So let's start in the key of A. I'm going to do a lot of stuff in A and then show you how to move it. So this is a first position bar chord in A. Now if I want to make a 7th out of that, if you haven't done this before, my first finger is barring all the strings at the 5th fret. Got my second finger on the 6th fret of the 3rd string. My ring finger is on the 5th string at the 7th fret, and my pinky is on the 4th string at the 7th fret. That is a basic guitar chord that you should learn if you're playing any style of electric guitar. Now if you're playing blues, a 7th chord, just take your pinky and put it on the 8th fret on the 2nd string. And that's a 7th chord. And you can move it. This would be G7, this would be F7, C7, D7, E7. The same shape, it's a movable bar chord. Now another way you can play that exact same chord is by what I call abbreviating it, or just playing the top 4 strings. So what I'm doing now is put my first finger, getting the 1st and 2nd strings at the 5th fret. My second finger is on the 6th fret of the 3rd string, and my ring finger is on the A note on the 4th string at the 7th fret of the 4th string. That is an A major chord. Now if I take my pinky and put it on the 8th fret of the 2nd string, again, like I did before, there we have a 7th chord. A 7th. And we can move that G7, F7, whoops, C7, D7, E7, all points in between. So that is what I call a first position 7th chord. You hear that a lot as a funky chord. You hear it as a turnaround chord, all kinds of different ways you can use that chord. Now another way to play the 7th is using this out of the 2nd position bar chord. And basically what this is a C7th. And C7th shape. So the first position, your cowboy chords up here, you make a C7 by putting your first finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, my second finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, then my pinky comes in on the 3rd string at the 3rd fret. That is a C7. And I'm just getting the middle 4 strings. Now I can move that up to a D, 2 more to an E, 1 to an F7, down here to a G7, here to an A7. Now how do I know what it is? Look at your ring finger. That is a C note. That is the root. This is a D. So it's D7. That's an E, E7, all the way down. So that is a chord that you use in a lot of stuff. And again, you can use it as a funky type chord like Lowell Fulson, Tramp, Magic Sam rather. Magic Sam, You Belong to Me, you know that song. You can also use it in a turnaround as a 5 chord. Guitar Slim would use that chord to start off a song. Otis Rush would use it as a 5 chord before going into the 1. Very useful. So that's it. Another. Now another seventh shape that you can use is based on the A7, first position, cowboy chord, as they call the simplest beginner chords. There's an A, got my first finger, the second fret barring the second, third, and fourth strings. The open fifth string is my root note, my bass note. To make a seventh, I take my ring finger and put it on the first fret, third fret of the first string. So that's an A7. You could also move that. So if you're playing in C, here's a second position C bar chord. So a C7th, I just take my first finger, just like I did up here at the second fret, bar off the second, third, and fourth strings, and then put my ring finger, which would be on the sixth string. Sixth fret, first string. Two more is a D. Here's an E. E7. So that's a different way of playing a seventh chord. Then, of course, there are some first position chords that are handy. Now, when you play electric blues, you don't use all, like the C, basics, C major chord. I don't hear that played a lot by itself in electric blues stuff. Usually it's a C7. Or if you're going to play a C, you're going to play it down on the neck or up on the neck. Down here somewhere. But there are some other chords. One that you hear quite a bit is the E7. So we could play an E7th here. We could play it down here. We could abbreviate that and play it here. And then we can also play it up here. Got my first finger on the first fret of the third string, second finger on the second fret of the fifth string, ring finger on the second fret of the fourth string, and then my pinky is on the third fret of the second string. And since it's E, all the strings are in play, the open sixth string and the open first string. That's an E7th. You could also play that by taking the ring finger out of it and just barring the second or the fourth and fifth strings, both at the second fret with your second finger. Guys like Merle Travis and electric country blues players like Lightning Hopkins would do that. Nance Lipscomb. It's an easier way of playing an E, and you can free up other fingers to do other things, or your ring finger. So that's an E7th. Another one that you hear quite a bit is a D7. And that shape you find in a lot of places. So this is D7th. My first finger is on the second fret, or first fret, second string. My ring finger is on the second fret, first string. And then my second finger is on the third string at the second fret. That's D7th. And you can move that, again, just like this A7th shape, we can move the D7th. So if we're playing in G, that's a G7. If we're playing in A, here's an A7. F, here's F, here's F7. And that chord shape in a lot of blues stuff, you'll hear it used, like Muddy Waters stuff, you'll hear something like this. It's a chord that is used a lot as a fill or as part of a lead or solos and things like that, but it's still a chord. So those are all ways to play seventh chords. Dominant seventh chords, what they call them. I said major seventh earlier. I was wrong. The dominant seventh, so I just call them seventh chords. So the different shapes, the more different places you can learn to play the same chords, the more, the easier it'll be for you to learn a lot of the stuff that you want to learn if you're interested in old school blues. Next lesson in the series, we'll talk about ninth chords, which are also very useful.